To any Hatsune Miku fans watching this video, this movie is 100% for you. Iroha's life gets knocked out of its orbit when Kaguya, a carefree runaway from the moon, moves in and convinces her to perform in a virtual world together. What's up everyone, I am Nick, and today we are going to be reviewing the latest Netflix anime film, Cosmic Princess Kaguya. Now, I have not seen The Tale of Princess Kaguya for a long time, but I finally did a couple days ago, Studio Ghibli one, and I really liked it. And that definitely increased my interest for watching this late release on Netflix, and even though this kind of thing isn't entirely my kind of movie, I thought I would at least give this a chance. And I was pleasantly surprised with a lot of parts of this film. The first thing that I thought was incredible, just genuinely astounding, was the animation. There are so many parts of this movie that just look incredible. The musical sequences especially, they have so much use of color. There's just a lot of great things going on where it really just feels like spectacle whenever you're watching those scenes. Genuinely, I think this will be one of my favorite looking movies at the end of the year, and definitely one of the better animated movies of 2026. But you also have a very strong sense of style with this, where one of the things that they do a lot is a lot of pop-up visuals, whether ads or basically just anything to add as much personality as they wanted in this. And I'll admit, sometimes it definitely overdoes it, and as someone who kind of is turned off by that in a lot of anime things, it definitely grated me a little bit. However, I'd much rather have it push too much of a style rather than just push too little and have none at all. Those two aspects I think undeniably work in its favor. The animation and the style are incredible. However, there are parts that just didn't fully click with me. I honestly thought the first hour of this movie was dreadful. Like 20 minutes in, I was tempted to just turn it off, but then I went, you know what, I'm going to push through, I'm going to give this movie a chance and get content out of it at the same time. And I honestly think the pacing was kind of bad throughout the entire thing. I thought this was 30 minutes too long. I didn't think it served a purpose to be 2.5 hours. And it definitely, the scenes outside of the virtual world, I think, suffered from this the most. Obviously, that's where the character building comes in, but I was just really bored with just how long we're taking in all of it. And I definitely just didn't get invested in a lot of the characters or the story. I think the pacing is definitely part of it, but also when it comes to the writing, I just didn't really feel anything grab me or hook me into why I'm really caring about what's happening, where there's a lot of really cool moments, but I just didn't get invested into the story going on. I think there is good chemistry between Iroha and Kaguya, but the bond I just didn't really feel any emotion with. And I'll preface that anime, I don't hate it. I'm not actively searching for it. I have nothing against it. However, there are certain things about some anime that I just kind of just turn me off. And I'm going to be honest, this movie has a couple of those things. As I said before, the style definitely pushes itself a lot. If you love anime, I'm sure you're going to really enjoy that. For me as a viewer, it kind of just grated me sometimes. And also there's just things like Gooner bait and just cringe moments that I'm going, okay, what are we doing? And those moments just brought down my energy with watching it and just making me less entertained and less invested in what's going on. So that is more of a personal issue, but one thing to take into consideration if you are also an anime fan but don't like those moments. However, after that first hour, I started enjoying this movie a lot more. I thought the action, especially at around like the hour mark, it really started to pick up, where there's a specific scene where it's like a competition that Iroha and Kaguya are in, and it is just amazing. Like, it's very immersive, there's a lot of tension, and it's just really creative with how it goes about a lot of these action set pieces, especially in the back half, where, yeah, the animation obviously looks incredible in these scenes, but I was just really into a lot of that action stuff, and added the style with it, it definitely makes this kind of a unique standing animated film. And the musical sequences, this isn't my genre of music, so I'm not really one to say if it's good or bad. I thought it sounded pretty alright, so if this is your genre, I think you're really going to enjoy the soundtrack for this, especially with how it's used in the movie and all those musical sequences. It is just pure spectacle, a lot of that stuff. So there are a lot of really high highs in this movie. But despite all of those cool parts, the really great action, the musical sequences, I just could not get invested into the story. I couldn't find a reason to care about what was going on. And at some points I was just going, what are we even doing? And I'll admit, some of that is definitely just personal experience viewing. However, I just think the writing could have been elevated a bit more and we could have trimmed some stuff down. I don't think it's poorly directed at all, but I just wish the writing and the pacing were a bit better and maybe I enjoy this movie a lot more. Now, before I get into my final thoughts, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get a goal at the end of the year to have 100 subscribers and to reach 87 full-length videos, not just YouTube Shorts. I think this is my 4th one of 2026, so we are getting there, building that consistency. Subscribing and earning that subscription would just really benefit me and the channel. Cosmic Princess Kaguya is a visually striking film that has high highs in its action set pieces and all of the musical sequences. However, I found the pacing to often be a detriment and I couldn't get invested in the story. If you like anime though, I guarantee you that you're gonna like this movie a lot more than me. Now, my final score for this movie is going to be a 58%. This is more reflective of my personal enjoyment of it, where the pacing just wasn't there and I wasn't getting invested. However, the action, the music, just the animation, there's so much great about this movie where quality, it's a lot higher than what a 58% score would be. And if you love anime, I 100% recommend this movie to you. Thank you all for watching. Once again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. More videos to come. Thank you all, and tune in again.